Hey everyone, let's start this guide off with our stat priorities. The stat priority for a Havoc Demon Hunter are going to be Agility, Crit Strike, Haste, and then Mastery. The reason we want to strike Crit is because our Chaos Strike. Whenever our Chaos Strike crits, it refunds 20 Fury back. In total, the spell costs 40. If we get refunded 20, it only costs 20. Since Chaos Strike is our main damage dealing ability, for us to be able to crit with it as often as possible is going to be number one priority, because we want to keep up as much fury as we can while spending as little as we can. Next is haste. The reason you want haste is because of Demon Blades. Demon Blades is your auto attacks have a 75% chance to deal additional shadow damage and generate fury. The more auto attacks we get off, the more fury we can generate, the more chaos strikes we can spend. While you have Bloodlust and Metamorphosis up, you gain even more haste, even more auto attacks, even more fury, even more chaos strikes, so on and so forth. Last is Mastery. Our Mastery increases our chaos damage by 9% and your movement speed by 9%. Mastery applies with Chaos Blades. Chaos Blades increases all damage done by 9% based on your Mastery. Now, this is somewhat useful, but not really. The reason you go Chaos Blades is because of its second effect. While active, your auto attacks deal 200% increased damage and may cause chaos damage. As I said before, with haste, stacking more haste, especially when Bloodlust and Metamorphosis is up, will give you a shit ton of damage with your auto attacks, especially when you have one of your BIS trinkets like I do, which is Tarathian's Betrayal, which adds even more damage to your auto attacks. The first part of Chaos Blades is a good combination with Nemesis, because Nemesis gives you a flat 20% increase, and Chaos Blades adding an additional 9% to that in total will make it about 29 to 30%, depending on how much more mastery I get on loot I will be gaining from Emerald Nightmare. So that will give us an additional 30% damage. That just makes our opener even that much more wild. Agility, obviously agility is just flat damage, and that's going to be our number one. I know other guides say stack versatility. That is only because we are able to stack versatility based on crafted gear and dungeon gear. Once we enter the Emerald Nightmare and we actually start getting higher eye level gear than we can in mythic dungeons, those will no longer be viable. Versatility, it barely any gear has versatility on it, so it will not be a good thing to prioritize over other things. So I'm just taking a proactive approach and just going ahead and stacking my crit haste. Next, let's talk about our talents. Our first talent you want to go for my build specifically, is Fel Mastery. Fel Mastery increases the Fel Rush damage by 50% and grants 25 Fury when you Fel Rush, so long as it hits one target. So you Fel Rush in, gain 25 Fury. Simple. Next is going to be Demon Blades. Demon Blades is, it replaces your Chaos Bite, so you no longer have to spam Chaos Bites while dealing damage, and your auto attacks have a 75% chance to deal additional shadow damage and generate fury. As I said before, more haste, more Demon Blade procs, more fury, boom boom boom, Chaos Strike all over the place. Next, let's talk about Fel Blade. Fel Blade is good because it's a charge, and also it generates fury for us. Also, it combines well with our Fel Rush. Another thing with Fel Blade is it can be reset based on our auto attacks. So if we sit there and auto attack, it can reset. Again, auto attacks, Demon Blades, haste, it all combines, and it's extremely useful. Also, another thing is with Fel Rush, it's a good combination because you can Fel Rush past the boss, immediately turn around, and then a Fel Blade in and generate some good fury. Obviously, I didn't do it there. Here, I'll show you guys the combo. You have to practice it, get good with your camera, and it'll be extremely useful. It'll lower your downtime in between having to generate your fury. So you do that, immediately turn around in the Fel Blade. Simple. Next is going to be Soul Rending. Soul Rending is you gain 100% leech while in Metamorphosis. This is extremely helpful because it makes you not give a shit about mechanics during your opener. So you can just go ahead and go fucking nuts on Chaos Strike. The more Chaos Strike, the more damage. That's what you want. You want to stay in the fight. You don't want to be interrupted. This is extremely useful in dungeons and probably in some raids. In other raids, I highly recommend maybe using Netherwalk, because Netherwalk is slip into the nether, increasing movement speed by 100% and becoming immune to damage, but unable to attack for 5 seconds. The thing here is becoming immune to damage, meaning this is a spell that could possibly cheese mechanics and during certain encounters, this might be a brilliant spell to use, and you could definitely make the encounter a lot easier. Next is going to be our Nemesis. Our Nemesis is a flat steroid. It basically increases damage you inflict to targets by 20%. It's just a flat, nice steroid. Also, if the target is slain, you will inflict 20% additional damage against all creature types matching the original target, humanoid, dragonkin, etc. for the remaining duration. That is extremely helpful because let's say you kill an ad, let's say 10 humanoids come at you. You blow everything on that one humanoid, you kill him, now you get 20% additional damage to all humanoids around you, and you can blow them up as well. So not only is it good for the single target, but it also helps in AoE. Next is going to be our Unleash Power. The reason I like Unleash Power is because it makes it a 40-second cooldown, and it doesn't cost any Fury. Yes, it still has a pretty long GCD because Haste doesn't reduce the GCD. When I say GCD, I mean global cooldown. Haste does not affect the global cooldown on your Chaos Nova. I'm sorry. So on top of it costing Fury and also taking a full GCD, it's kind of annoying. So when you have Unleash Power and you have a reduced cooldown, plus it doesn't cost any Fury, it really makes up for you having to wait that long GCD. Master of the Glaive is more for PvP, and Demon Reborn you don't want to open with. It's extremely slow because you're gonna have to cast Eye Beam, and you're gonna have to go to Metamorphosis, cast Eye Beam again. Then you have no Fury, and it's just I don't like it. It's too slow. Next, like I said before, is Chaos Blades. Increases all damage by 9% based on your mastery, and while active, your auto attacks deal 200% increased damage. Again, synergy with auto attacks, haste, all that good stuff, and also has synergy with Nemesis. The reason I do not like using momentum is because it gives you a 20% increase to damage whenever you want, but the problem with it is you get a little bit of downtime because it's extremely hard to use your Vengeful Retreat and then go into Fell Rush. You have to wait for the GCD to end or whatnot, and you can cut it with Fellblade, but you have to time it extremely well. If you don't cut the Vengeful Retreat with Fellblade, then what's gonna happen is mid animation you're gonna Vengeful Retreat backwards, and then it's gonna say you Fellbladed when you really didn't. Yeah, I'll show you a mistiming on it. Vengeful Retreat, and then see, it Fellbladed, but you keep going backwards. So then on top of using your Vengeful Retreat GCD and then using Fellblade, now since it bugged out, now you're gonna have to run back in and then Fell Rush back into the target. So it's a lot of downtime that I don't really like. My talent build is strictly for single target boss DPS. As I said in the disclaimer, this is all I want to do. I want to nuke the shit out of bosses. Now, you will be changing talents based on the fight that you're going to be doing. So if there is a huge ad fight, obviously you're going to want to go Fell Barrage. Then you're going to also want to go Momentum, because you want the extra damage when the ads come out. Since Demon Hunters have a lot of AoE damage, what some people tend to forget is our AoE damage or AoE nukes are on cooldowns. They're on minute cooldowns, 40-second cooldowns. So if, let's say, some boss comes out with like 40 ads and they're about to come down on the tank, everybody has to nuke them. Perfect time is definitely you want to use Fell Barrage and Momentum, because what you're going to want to do is you're going to Fell Rush into those mobs, then you're going to Momentum out, Fell Blade in, pop your Fell Barrage with that 20% increased damage on top of Fury of the Illidari, and then Blade Dance, and you're going to deal a shit ton of damage, and those ads are going to die instantly. Yes, the AoE is extremely helpful, but remember, you don't want to make your entire build revolved around that, because we are more than just AoE trash clear with Fell Barrage. Alright, next let's go into our artifact traits. Again, this is strictly for single target, so this is all single target path that I chose. You're going to want to go into Warglaives of Chaos. Obviously that's the one that unlocks all the rest of the stuff you're going to be doing. Next is Sharpened Blades, increases damage dealt by Throw Glaive. It's a filler spell, whatever. 15% increased damage to the filler spell. It's decent. Feast of Souls, when consuming a soul fragment, the remaining cooldown on Eye Beam and Chaos Nova is reduced by 5 seconds. That's extremely helpful for world encounters, stuff like that. You know, you kill a bunch of ads, all of a sudden You eye beam, they all die. There's a bunch of souls around you. You eat them up, and your eye beam is back up, so you can go ahead and pull more stuff. Same thing as when you're on a boss encounter. If you kill a bunch of the ads, they give you a bunch of souls back. You get a crap ton of health back. Your eye beam is back up. You're ready to deal some more damage. Deceiver's Fury. You generate 15 Fury each time you dodge an attack. That's extremely helpful, especially with Bladed Dance. When you use Bladed Dance, you have a 100% chance to dodge for 1 second. So if you can time an auto attack correctly, Blade Dance, then you get 15. You can get 15 Fury off of it. Obviously, it costs 35, so really, it's only going to cost you a 20 Fury Blade Dance. But the reason that's important is because of Blur. Increases your chance to dodge by 50% and reduces all damage you take by 35%. Now let's say an ad comes out on a boss and it doesn't really hit too hard, but it's kind of a nuisance and you have to nuke it. You can just take aggro off that ad, pop Blur, and just sit there and pound away at it, because since you have a 50% increased chance to dodge plus you take 35% less damage, you're going to be generating Fury off your dodges plus your Demon Blades, Fell Rush, and Fell Blade. So it's going to be extremely useful, and you can just sit there and pound the ad, and then, obviously once your Blur is about to run out, then you can tell the tank, hey, please pull off of me because he's about to destroy me. Next is Inner Demons. Chaos Strike has a chance to unleash your inner demons, causing it to crash into the target and deal 154,000 chaos damage to all nearby enemies. This is extremely useful on certain things, because the chance for this thing to proc is extremely low. Within a 5-minute fight, you might see it proc 3. If you're extremely lucky, maybe 4 times. But it is still extremely strong because it is guaranteed to proc on your very first Chaos Strike, or your first 3 or 4 Chaos Strikes during the fight. So it just adds a little big of a boost to damage on the encounter. And since you're spamming so many Chaos Strikes, you might as well have this, because you're going to want to, random procs for extra damage. We're gonna skip Overwhelming Power, because all that is when Chaos Nova stuns a target, it has a 10% chance, 30% when you put 3 ranks into it, to generate a lesser soul fragment. That only works if the ad is stunnable, and if it's not stunnable, it's completely useless. You don't want it. This is for a world encounter type of thing. So we're gonna go ahead and take the Critical Chaos. Increases critical strike damage dealt by Chaos Strike by 30%. I have 2 relics that make it to where I put 2 additional points into it, as you can see, so it makes it go all the way up to 30%. This is extremely useful. You get so much fucking damage out of the critical strike damage dealt by Chaos Strike. Having these relics in has increased my damage by a crap ton. I love it. This is one of the best traits we have, honestly. It is amazing. Next is Eye Beam. Additional damage to your Eye Beam, useful. Next is Anguish of the Deceiver. Now, this is what makes Eye Beam good for single target. The reason why is because each time Eye Beam deals damage to a target, it also applies Anguish. When Anguish expires, it deals 9,493 chaos damage, 9,500 to round up, to the victim per application. That means multiply 9,500 times 10, and that's what the explosion is going to be. That is extremely useful when you do your opener, because when you have Bloodlust and Metamorphosis up, it also increases the ticks or it doesn't increase the ticks. It lowers the amount of time Eye Beam cast. So it's a really strong opener. So you can get the stacks extremely quick, and you can finish off the cast really quickly. So it's not going to interfere with you spamming out your Chaos Strikes. The next one I went with is Unleash Demons. It reduces the cooldowns of your Metamorphosis by 60 seconds. Now I like this one is because it makes, obviously, your Metamorphosis is now a 4-minute cooldown instead of a 5-minute cooldown. It really helps in dungeons because you can get your Metamorphosis back a lot quicker, and so you can use it on more bosses. But also with raid encounters, for you to have a 4-minute cooldown on your Metamorphosis is extremely useful, because let's say boss fights last 5 minutes. Well, if your Metamorphosis was a 5-minute cooldown, you would only be able to use your Metamorphosis once. But now that it's a 4-minute cooldown, now the encounter you're able to use 2 Metamorphoses. Also, your Nemesis and your Chaos Blades are also a 2-minute cooldown. So let's say it's a 6-minute fight. You get to use 3 Chaos Blades and 2 Metamorphoses. And even then, on a 4-minute or 5-minute fight, you still get 2 Chaos Blades and 2 Metamorphoses. So it's extremely useful. The next one I'm going for is Demon Rage. It flat out increases the damage dealt by Demon Blades. If you don't have it talented, obviously it turns into Chaos Bite. Again, extremely useful. My opener is, passive auto attacks on top of my Chaos Strike spam. A lot of damage, stuff like that. Next, I'm going to go for Contained Fury. Increases your maximum Fury by 10. Once it's at rank 3, it's going to go up to 30. Extremely useful. When you're doing your opener, sometimes you can't spend enough Fury, so some of it is lost. If you can add an additional 30 to that pool, it makes things a lot easier and just overall more damage. Another one is Illidari Knowledge, reduces the magic damage you take. That's just passive defense. And another one is Demon Speed. Activating Blur generates 2 charges of Fell Rush. That's going to be nice when I do have it, but it's not something that I'm looking forward to. Or it's not something I'm going to prioritize over other ones. The last one is going to be Rage of the Illidari. Fury of the Illidari ends when Fury of the Illidari ends. 60% of the damage you deal erupts into an explosion of fell energy, dividing that chaos damage amongst all enemies. Same thing with I-Beam. Fury of the Illidari is decent right now. It's a good filler spell when you don't have enough Fury and your Fellblade is on your Fellblade combo is on cooldown and you don't have enough Fury to use Chaos Strike. It's a good filler spell. But same with I-Beam. Once you can get that bonus explosion off your Fury of the Illidari, it's going to be pretty decent damage on single target, just like I-Beam with the Anguish stacks. So once you get Fury of the Illidari, more than likely what you're going to want to do on the opener is Fury of the Illidari, I-Beam, get all that nice juicy damage. They both explode on top of you already going nuts with your Chaos Strikes. It's going to be sweet damage on that opener. So that's about it for the I guess I'll show you guys my relics. My relics, like I said, is it's Fell, Shadow, Fell. One of them is for critical on Chaos Strike. Same thing, critical on Chaos Strike. And then the Demon Rage. For this segment, I'm going to show you the opener live, and so you guys can take a look at what I'm talking about when I tell you all this information. So we're gonna go ahead and start it off here. I'm not sure if I can do a pull timer by myself, but let's see if we can. Let's do a pull timer 8. Yeah, we can. Okay, lagged a little bit.
4, 3, 2, 1. Warning.
Alright, so you guys saw me do the opener that I was talking about earlier. So now let's talk about the rotation. The first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to Fell Rush in and get that 25 Fury and then Fellblade. And in total, you're going to be getting 55 Fury. 30 from Fellblade, 25 from Fell Rush. Pro tip on the Fell Rush, you do not want to start the fight far away from the boss, Fell Rush in, and then get into Rage for Fellblade. You do not want to use one of your stacks of Fell Rush just to get into range. You want to make sure you get the 25 Fury off that. Next for the rotation, as soon as the GCD is over for Fellblade, you want to go right into Metamorphosis. Once Metamorphosis is gone, then you want to pop your one-shot macro. Your one-shot macro is going to be your Chaos Blades, Nemesis, and if you have an on-use trinket, it will be your on-use trinket. So you combine it all, you pop it all on the target, and as soon as that happens, you spam the shit out of Chaos Strike. You spam Chaos Strike until you don't have Chaos Strike, and then you go into your Fell Rush combo and you spam Chaos Strike again. If your Fell Rush hasn't come back up and you're completely left with nothing else to do, then you use Throw Glaive as a filler. After you use Throw Glaive and you still don't have anything left to do, then you use Fury of the Illidari and you fill it in like that. Oh shit, I think I forgot to tell you guys to I-Beam after the Metamorphosis. Alright, take that back. once Metamorphosis ends, you pop your Chaos Blades, and then you go into the quick I-Beam. You want that because, as you saw, I-Beam casted a shit ton faster once I had Bloodlust and my Metamorphosis up. So you want that extra burst in there right before you start spamming all your Chaos Strike damage. Other than that, the rotation, like I said, filler spell is going to be your Throw-Glaive and your Fury of the Illidari, and you're just going to want to Chaos Strike as often as possible. Chaos Strike, Chaos Strike, Chaos Strike, Chaos Strike. And if you're deciding whether you should use Throw-Glaive or Fury of the Illidari before Chaos Strike, don't do it. Chaos Strike is #1 priority. Chaos Strike over everything else, even I-Beam. So that's pretty much it. You know, Chaos Strike, Chaos Strike, Chaos Strike, Fell Rush, Fell Blade for extra Fury, and then you want to sit there and you want to keep spamming out your Chaos Strike. Next thing I want to talk about is consumables. Consumables for us is going to be food, pot, flask, and rune. For food, we are going to be using the Hungry Magister. When you get well fed, you gain 375 critical strike. Extremely useful. Nom nom nom. For our flask, it will be Flask of the 7th Demon. Increases agility by 1300. Extremely useful. Since agility does take priority over crit strike, having a nice bump in agility is going to increase our damage by that much more. Our pre-pot or potion will be Potion of the Old War. The reason it is called a pre-pot is because people use it 5 to 3 seconds before the boss is pulled, because the way these potions work is if you use it in combat, you cannot use it again until you are out of combat. But if you use it outside of combat, it immediately goes into cooldown, and you will be able to use it again once it is off cooldown. So what people do to cheese it is they pot 5 to 3 seconds before the boss is pulled, blow all that up, and when the cooldowns come back, like Chaos Blades and Nemesis, you use your second Potion of the Old War, so it really helps with damage sustained. But anyways, the effect of Potion of the Old War is it summons a pair of ghostly fallen warriors that will echo your melee attacks and abilities. This works the same way that that ghosting did for rogues. So basically, they're just going to be mimicking all the stuff you do, and it doesn't say that it's a portion of the damage, so I'm guessing it just goes ahead and copies the damage and the spells you cast. So it's huge. It's like having 2 of you on your opener. That's extremely strong. I can't show it here, but the last thing is runes. If you guys played Warlords of Draenor, you know exactly what I'm talking about with runes. If you haven't, runes is an additional it's an additional consumable added by Blizzard to the game, and what it does is it adds 375 of a primary stat: strength, agility, intellect. So mix that with your flask, it will give you an additional 1,675 to your primary stat. So that's extremely useful for damage. Besides consumables, next let's talk about enchants and gems. For gems, you're just going to want to go crit. The more crit you have, the more damage. You're just going to want to stack the shit out of crit. For your neck enchant, it's going to be Mark of the Claw. Mark of the Claw is extremely useful. It increases our haste and our crit strike. Both beautiful stats that we want. For our cloak, there is a 200 agility one. This one is just, I don't know. I guess I was too broke or something, but I got to put 200 agility on this. Anyways, it's a 200 agility, and since I had a socket on it, obviously 150 crit for the gem. Also, what's the last one? I think it's rings. And then the next is rings. Same thing. You want to put 200 crit, so really 400 crit off your rings. Your weapons can no longer be enchanted, so don't worry about that. The enchant comes from your activation, I'm guessing. My opinions on the Demon Hunter are, it's a beautiful class. I think Blizzard did a perfect job with the Demon Hunter, and honestly it's really hard to see any drawbacks to the Demon Hunter. If things were to change, or if I did have something to change, I honestly don't know what it would be. the class seems pretty perfect at this point. And honestly, I don't know. I would have to leave it in Blizzard's hands to see what changes they would want to make, because I don't see any that I could personally would want to change about the Demon Hunter. I mean, I guess, you know, change the AoE that's based off cooldowns, but I mean, that's still perfectly fine. I'm in love with this class. Reasons why I play the Demon Hunter would probably have to be because I was an Ellie Shaman main since the Burning Crusade, which that's about 10 years. I haven't played for 10 years exactly, but on and off, you know, for 10 years. The way the whole Chaos Strike mechanic in the opening with the Metamorphosis, it feels just like Shaman did with Ascendance. You know, you pop your Flame Shock Ascendance, and then you just spam the shit out of Lava Burst until like it all goes off cooldown. Then you start throwing in your fillers and all that good stuff. So my Demon Hunter feels like the melee version of my Elemental Shaman, and like I said, I played it for 10 years, and it's the best. I love the playstyle that these two offer. The huge burst potential from Demon Hunters as well is just amazing. I don't think I've seen that besides from the Ellie Shaman, and it's just amazing. Like, I've never been a person to play a mage, so I can't really relate with the mages and whatnot. I've just never been a clothy person, I guess. Like, I've either played leather, plate, or mail. I've never touched a cloth class, so I can't really do all that kind of stuff. The hunter mobility is another thing too. They're just crazy with the whole vengeful retreat, the fell rush, the fell blade. Their mobility is just insanity. Like, it feels like I'm playing a completely different game, honestly. It feels like I'm playing an action MMO while everyone is still playing the standard, like, auto attack cooldown MMO. Like, honestly, it feels like I'm playing DCUO while I'm playing World of Warcraft, and just I don't know, this class is just awesome. I can't get over the good job that Blizzard did. I mean, I'm kind of fanboying a little bit, but honestly, like, nothing else compares to this class at this moment. Like, I have no urge to play any other class besides this one, which kind of sucks, because, like, I want my Elemental Shaman to be good again, but it's in a really shitty place right now. So, like, Demon Hunter is perfect for it to fill that void. Plus the transmog on the female Blood Elves is they're pretty ridiculous. I think the transmogs on the Demon Hunters are pretty dope. So I'm definitely gonna like that, especially with the tier 19. The tier 19 looks amazing. The Warglaives and all that kind of stuff, all that is just awesome. The demon form, just the way it looks, the way it feels, it's crazy. Like I said, playing a completely different game. I mean, yeah, with the whole damage potential in this class, I found it's just amazing. Like, I honestly thought it was just gonna be like a AoE clearing trash bot, but it's not like that at all. Depending on how you go, the way you play it, and the kind of stuff you prioritize, like, you can easily be a single target DPS monster on top of being a savage with AoE trash clear and AoE just trash mobs in general. Like, it's a really flexible class, and I'm definitely in love with it. Other than that, that's about it. I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and if you guys don't mind, please hit that subscribe and like button, and I'll be back with a lot more videos, not just on Demon Hunters, but Warcraft as a whole. Thanks for watching.